All right, here we go. It is July 24th, and we've got some new members. We got some new alignable members in here, and even one through ClickBank. So we should have some new faces. Let's see. My Zoom is all messed up. There we go. Now I got it. Now I can see you guys. All right. So new faces, familiar faces. Anything that anybody wants me to start off on. Otherwise, I'm going to talk a little bit about the white label because there's been a lot of questions about that, and I think that's a hot topic. So,
Oh, we don't want to miss that. But I did have a thought about the workbook, and maybe it's just me, but it seemed like the traffic segment was really thin or not really there, or I don't know, because I'm trying to go through the workbook. So you got the freedom part, the analysis. What's the second part? Communication. Is communication the C?
well, C is creation.
Creation. And
Yeah,
then traffic. And I printed it all out. I actually have it here. But I didn't really see much for traffic.
yeah. Traffic is really there's not too much as far as the workbook goes for traffic.
Okay.
When
All
you
right. So I'm not missing something.
no. When you get to the traffic part, that's where you kind of have to evaluate. You somewhat go back to your analysis to figure out who it is that you're targeting, and a lot of it is common sense. Like if you've got an older audience in social media, they're going to be on Facebook. They're not going to be on the newfangled stuff. You're not going to find them on Reddit and, TikTok and all that stuff. Even Instagram. Those are like for a younger, more hip audience. So if you're focused on uh, middle-aged housewives, Facebook's your your playground. Or also Google. Google kind of spans just about every audience because people search of all all spaces. They all search. One of the things now that is coming up, and I haven't really seen too many ad opportunities yet, but believe me, they're coming in the AI space. Like when you're using AI, expect to start seeing ads. It shouldn't take them long because most of the AI companies come from search. That money came from search to develop that stuff. So, and everybody's getting it. Everybody's coming out with AI browsers now. You're going to see a massive push to a takeover of AI. It's coming. It's not just coming, it's here. But it's going to escalate quite a bit. So, just expect that. And AI, again, AI matches up with the search criteria. You're going to have a lot of people that are using AI to search. Like, I literally have neighbors that don't know squat about technology. And the big rage now is Grok. They're using Grok. And I'm like, really? Not Chat GPT? No, Grok. They're all over it. So I find that very interesting. The shift is happening. This is a big shift. And it's like it's I got into the internet marketing space before the majority. And I remember it was a very lonely place for a while, for a couple of years. And then all of a sudden I actually remember the day when it almost just changed overnight. I was at my photo studio in Irvine, and I went to the little sandwich shop for lunch. And I remember sitting there, and you know how it's almost like a dream where you've got all these voices in your head, and everyone around you is just talking in your ear, and you can't even think about anything because it's so much. Well, that's what I experienced. I'm sitting there trying to eat my sandwich, and it was website this, email that, website this. It was like everything, every conversation in the whole place was talking about websites. And it was like, holy shit, this is a big shift. And from that point forward, it was like a landslide. And that took a while, and it took a couple of years to really hit that. And if you look at like where we're at, it's been a couple of years since ChatGPT opened its doors to free accounts and flooded the market. And now it's like it's the same thing. Every conversation I'm hearing is AI this and AI that and Grok this and you know Perplexity that, ChatGPT over here. Your Gemini. You're hearing all of the buzzwords from AI. So now is the time really to take advantage of it. If you are working with business owners, giving them that leverage, they don't know how to use it. They're enamored by it, just like they were with websites. Everybody wanted a website in the beginning, but nobody knew how to do it, and they weren't fully taking advantage of it. And if you showed up and you knew how to do it, getting jobs there was super easy. So that's kind of where we are here. That's the point in the historic timeline. We've come back around. What we have in our hand is what everybody wants and nobody knows how to do. So this is a really good time to take advantage of that because that won't last forever. AI is going to go on for a long, long time. But the opportunity in AI that you have right now is it's a short window. And once the window closes, you don't want to be on the wrong side of it because it's really hard to get through a closed window without breaking some glass. But right now the window's wide open. You can crawl right through with no interference. So that's why I wanted to talk about the white label. It's so easy for you guys to develop your own software and serve any community, anyone you want. So, Arba, you had your hand up there. Let's see what you got for us today.
Well, it's a question and a testimonial
Okay,
again.
awesome.
So, I love the precision image model. So, so I have so much fun with it. So I'll start with the fact that it even changes my hairstyle, which I actually love. So depending on how it's feeling like it wants to generate me, it'll totally give me a different hairstyle. But one of the things I noticed, and I could share if you want, because it's actually kind of comical,
Sure.
that I was trying to do, and so this is the question and the comment. I was trying to do a mentoring, like a training. So I was trying to do something saying that I'm a trainer, or a speaker.
Uh-huh.
And so I used the prompt to come up with the great prompt that I wanted of me coaching somebody. And then I did it and I was coaching myself. So it
I've
was two
had that
of
happen
me.
too.
And so then I said, okay, make it a man. Then I became a man. It was me coaching a man that looked just like me, but had short hair. Then the man's hair started changing. He started having like cornrow braids. And then I said, okay, make it an older man. Then all of a sudden it was me coaching me with gray hair and a short haircut. So
So it made you an old man.
yeah. So that's why it's my testimonial and a question. So the question is, how do you or can, oh, wait. The last one was where I wanted to be a speaker on stage talking to an audience. So the audience all looked like me with different hairstyles. Some were men, some were women. I can show you all of this if you'd like to see, just for comedy purposes.
I'm
But
I'm sure they would. I've seen the same thing because when I created mine, my initial beginning prompts were the same way. I wanted me on stage and I didn't even notice it at first. I actually did it. I thought, wow, that looks really cool. And I posted it out and people started making comments about, yeah, I see all your family members in the audience. And I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? And then I went and looked and it's me out like in an audience of probably 100 people, I was probably 6 times up in the first row.
Exactly. I knew it was me instantly because I mean, people recognize my smile, and I was like, that's me. That's all of those are me.
Yeah, so and again, that's part of the whole hallucination thing. When sometimes when you ask it to do something, and this will happen not just in the precision image model. For those of you that are not familiar with the tools yet, the precision image model is you take about a dozen photos of yourself or anybody and you upload them and it creates a precision image model of you. And then you can go in and prompt it to have you in different environments, wearing different clothes. You can tell it whatever you want it to do, and it will plug you into that image. Like I used that for when I was making the PowerPoint presentation for the ACT bundle. I needed images of me training, like on the Zoom call like this. And the only thing I had was like screenshots of the Zoom window with everybody on it. So I didn't really have a over the shoulder picture of me in front of the screen with all of you guys. So I told it I need a picture of me on a boat running a Zoom call full of people. And it created a really, really cool image of me on a boat doing a Zoom call with a bunch of people on it. I'm like, holy shit, that is perfect. But it never happened. But it represents the feeling of trying to translate what I do and what you get when you purchase the program. It's very obvious. Oh, okay, I get him on a Zoom call. There he is doing the Zoom call, even though it never happened. They get the feeling of what they're getting. So, and that's what
So is there a
advertising.
way to prompt it so that it doesn't put your face on all the other faces?
Yeah, you just have to be creative with it, and you gotta just experiment with the prompting. It's all about the prompt though. I had the same thing. I wanted me doing a podcast in a live studio with somebody I'm interviewing. And I'll be damned, it was showing me interviewing me. I'm like, no, 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 no. and and I forget what I had to tell it to get it to do it right, but I was able to do it. But it does want to revert back because you're referencing yourself as the subject matter. So when you're calling up for multiple subject matters, it's wanting to default back to the image model for
Yeah.
all of
Well,
it.
I do have to help anyone else how I ended up two ways I fixed it. One is that I did specifically in the mentoring kind of scenario that I wanted is as I said, the subject back. I said Arba is mentoring a subject with their back facing, their back towards the camera, however I
Yeah.
said it. The second way is I'm a Canva whiz. So I took one of those that it gave me where it had I was like in a classroom setting
Mhm.
and any of the people that slightly had their head that you could see it was me, then I removed them and replaced them with someone else. And it worked really good. So
Yeah.
that,
So an example of a prompt to get what you're looking for is referencing your name as the model. So say I need a photo of, and then use whatever name you called yourself in the image model. So it references that for you. And I want it on stage looking over my shoulder from behind, showing the audience in full view and make it a randomized audience of random people. And you can even say what age group, you can tell it, what type of people, like dressed in business attire or surfwear or whatever you want. You can do an outdoor auditorium, outdoor theater, casual dress, but I would try like prompting in that kind of fashion and see what you get.
Yeah, definitely the environment, the audience, however I wanted to stand, it did that perfect. Love that. But it's like anytime if I was facing the audience, then it was me. So I'll try the random. Even I tried diverse. I use the word diverse. And so then, like I said, it was a bunch of me with different clothes on, and some were men and some were women. So I'll try random.
I've also noticed, I don't know if you guys have noticed this when you're using AI. Like I've found this a couple of times on Perplexity because I use Perplexity a lot. If I'm doing something outside of any of our act tools, I generally use Perplexity as my main AI for playing. And I was in there one day and I asked it to do something very specific based on a knowledge base file. And it it did half of what I asked it, but it completely ignored the other half, which is what I really needed. So I went back to it and I said, "Could you please do what I asked of you?" And apparently I offended it. And it came back, and it did the same thing again. And usually, like, and I've told you guys this before, beat the shit out of it, make it confess its war crimes. Tell it did a lousy job and it will want to do better. Generally that works. Well, in this case it didn't, it just made it worse. And I finally got to the point where I said, please help me understand how I can communicate with you better, because obviously you're not hearing what I'm asking of you. And the damn thing came back and it said, I don't think we're a good fit. You should probably try a new agent. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I've I have never seen anything like it. I'm like, wow.
You gotta tell it, hey, you work for me.
Yeah, I mean, I got a bully.
Perplexity
Perplexity
might not
fired
adapt
you.
like that. ChatGPT will say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you're right." It's
Well,
amazing.
Perplexity usually does. Like that's been one of my key elements is
You
to
beat it up
tell it.
too much, so it's beating up back.
Yeah, it's like this thing is like gaining consciousness and getting smarter. But usually what I typically do is I say, I thought you were better than that. I'm calling upon you as a professional in this industry, because I usually, when I prompt, I start off by pre-framing it with who it is and what its specialty is. And then when it does shoddy work or even when it does good work, I still go back and I say, I thought you were better than that. And I swear, once you do that, it knows you expect more out of it. It's almost like it's cloned me and it wants to be lazy. It's learned my tactics. But
But on that, isn't that something you would say? Because, like, if you were working with someone and they kept coming back to you and saying, that's not that, wouldn't that be something you probably would say? That
yeah, I mean, I'm usually with when it comes to AI, I'm usually brutally honest, where you couldn't do that with a real person. Real people are just way too fragile to communicate with like I communicate with AI. They would just like shrivel up and die. So you got to be careful, or if they're employees, they're going to sue you. You're going to get lawsuits. You just can't do that. But with the AI, you can. You can actually bully it. You can get it to do better by insulting it. And until you get one that bites back. And I tell you, I got that when I experienced it. And what I did, I took its advice. I closed the window, I reopened a new window and just started over. And it was like night and day. It did exactly what I wanted. It was a totally different personality. And so just know that, like, if you're asking it to do something and it's just not doing it, Your best bet might be just to shut it down and wait and start over. Because you'll get a new agent. The thing is really, I mean, it's really gotten to the point where it's emulating real human beings, and there's good ones and bad ones. And so, as crazy as that sounds, it's absolutely true. So I feel your pain, Arb. I've experienced it firsthand. All right. Anything else before we move on? All right. So I'm going to talk about the quantum suite and your ability to white label it. I think some people have been kind of fuzzy on what that looks like, how it works, all of that stuff. But when you're in there, let me see if I can get that up. And then once we do this, we're going to Perryize Brady. Remember a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about how I was real proud of one of my landing pages and I had Perry review it. He just shredded me. Uh, and I find that really helpful because as good as I am at doing this for others, I can't seem to do it to save my life on my own stuff. And I think that's a common thread with a lot of people. So it was funny. Brady's like, hey, I just made a landing page. And it was almost like a mirror image of what I did with Perry. I looked at his landing page and I'm like, oh, he's in for it. And it's funny, he made the exact same mistakes I did. And he knows better, just like I do. So he's probably gonna like be lowering his head when I'm going through it. But anyway, that's it's pretty funny the way that works. All right, let me get into my quantum suite here. And I'll show you guys. I'll share the screen. All right, so some of you have had quantum from way back, and it looks a little bit different today than it did, even a month or so ago, because I've put stuff into folders. A lot of people ask me to do this because it was too overwhelming. So I've kind of categorized the different tools now. So you've got the image, all the image tools are in this folder. So what Arbo is talking about, precision image model here, and I'll just show you guys what that looks like when you go to generate an image. It's generating an image off of a a person's thing. Like the prompt here, this is when I say one of the benefits of buying the ACT program is you get to take me home with you. So I needed an image of someone taking me home with them. And this is what it came up with. I thought that was really cool. It's a little creepy, maybe, but when I'm doing a presentation, I always get like I always get people's attention when I say that you get to take me home with you. And I'd never had an image that represented it until now. So that's pretty well. Like here, this is what Arbo was talking about. This is me and talking to me. It does kind of funky stuff.
But how come the woman doesn't, is that the woman doesn't look like you? In mine, the women and the men were all looking like me.
Here's the one, me and me shaking hands and trying to do the podcast. Pretty funny. Yeah, but it does a lot. But like here's me doing the Zoom call on the boat. Yeah, I did several of those. And I mean, that's pretty cool. I could get that image, but I'd have to go recreate the scene, whereas here I can just tell it what I want and it'll do it. Here's like in an office setting, the boat setting. But this, like I got it to do different people here, and these are different people here. So you can get it to do that. You just have to kind of play around with the prompts. Brady made a image model of himself too. So that's that's the precision image model.
Connie, you're gonna have to get in on this action. We're gonna need to load Connie's
Yeah.
precision model in there.
I'm
we need
scared.
we need a Connie clone. So anyway, that's precision image model. This tool here, I get so much mileage out of the Act Imager tool. This thing is phenomenal. It does a lot of the prompting for you. So you can just put in the basics and then the tool itself wraps it with the prompt to make realistic images and all kinds of really cool stuff. Like I was doing some stuff with Delilah and we were talking about she was doing a presentation and part of her presentation is like, you're I'm here to try and get you safely across the river that's loaded with gators. So we're creating images of the river with the gators. This is representing, the pitfalls. If you put your foot in the water, the gator's going to bite you. And then she wanted to represent one of the downfalls as buying the wrong shit coin. So I said, what if we make a gator with a shit coin cap on? So that represents for her presentation. These visuals really grab people's attention and keep them engaged in your presentations, or like a money train. So my prompt here was, a mystical train with $100 bills bellowing out of the smokestack. That kind of shit just doesn't happen. You can't go hire a photographer to do that. You would have to go and you'd have to hire a graphic artist to create these images, and they'd cost you a fortune. And you'd have to go back and forth with them to get what you want. Whereas here, if it's not what you want, just hit regenerate, and it'll regenerate you a
You
new
might not
image.
even get what you want with the graphics artist.
Yeah, you won't even come close.
No.
So it's cool stuff. Or this was another one in her presentation. She's talking about uh, snake oil. So I said, well, it'd be really cool to have a potion, magic potion bottle with snakes coming out of it. And again, that's like a Disney type of image. That's a high quality Disney style image. So you can see this. I absolutely love that tool. That is the Act Imager tool. Logo Beast is really cool too for creating logos. This is all stuff that you can use two different ways to make money. You can do this work for other people. Like there's a ton of people out there that could use images for a presentation. They don't know how to do it. They're not good at it. You could make images for their presentation that are spectacular with almost no effort on your part. You can make a lot of money doing that. You can make logos for companies. You can do precision image models. You could do book covers, all kinds of stuff that you could offer using these tools to other businesses. Now, there's two ways to look at how you're going to make money. There's one way of making money as a job. If you want to actually do work, this is what you do. You offer them services. That's, in my opinion, that's the lesser of the two options because it's not scalable. It takes your time to do it. Even though AI is making it really fast, it's making you really efficient, it's still taking your time to do the work. So you only have so many hours in the day. You can only do so much. And the other problem here is once the job is done, you're looking for a new customer because the money stops, right? That money does not flow. It's a job, you get paid, it's over. Now you need a new job. So that's why I say it's the lesser of the two for me. I have always looked for opportunities in business that I'm going to generate recurring income. If I'm going to make a sale, it's not just a single sale. It's a there's a lifetime relationship built behind every sale for me. So I never focus. Like look at all the stuff I offer. I don't offer anything as a one-off. You know, there everything that I offer leads to more and more in a long-term relationship. Even if it's not products I'm offering, it's it's offering stuff that I know is of high value to every prospect that comes into my funnel. It's high value to all the customers that jump on and, become clients. So in that aspect, you look at taking this whole suite, the whole quantum suite, and white labeling it, which means you're going to offer it as your own product. You change the name, you put your brand name on it, you put your brand logo on it. You can change the color scheme to match your brand. You can change the buttons up here. Like these are buttons for me to give away a free AI book. The reason I give that AI book away is it's not to generate a lead necessarily here because you're already in my database. I don't need to generate you as a lead. But what I want to do is I want to educate you on other opportunities of other AI products. And guess what? Most of them are affiliate links. So anything you buy out of that book, I'm going to get money put in my tip jar because of it. I make a good chunk of my money every month walk into the mailbox. I call it mailbox money. And that is a perfect example. That AI book, I talk about probably 30 or 40 different things that you could buy that would help you with AI. And all of them lead to a sale through some sort of an affiliate link. Some of them are my own products. It's basically opening your eyes to what is available in the world of AI. Some of it is mine, some of it's not. Do I care if money comes in? I do not. If it's money through affiliates, I have to literally do nothing. If it's, one of my own products, then we fulfill, we service it, we support it. And most all of the support that I do for all of my products and services is on group calls like this. So it's scalable. I love two things about business. I love scalable and I love recurring income. I put those two together and that builds my perfect world. So it just depends on what your outlook is, what your plan is, what your strategy is. But I can tell you where I like to focus my efforts is in scalable things that have recurring income attached to them, even if it's an affiliate product. Like I know a lot of you know that I use Kartra. I love Kartra. I refer people to Kartra through an affiliate link. When people buy Kartra, I get money put in my tip jar, not just once, but every month. As long as you're a Kartra customer, I keep getting my nickel in the tip jar. So those nickels add up over time. If you do this over time, over a continued basis, you will stack up a lot of income from doing nothing. You just have to find good providers where, like with Kartra, Kartra is a perfect example. I know if you get on Kartra and you run your business on there, you're going to have it for life. So what did I do? I just created a lifetime income by introducing you to something good. The quantum suite. If you if you get in as a white label and you start selling this, you're going to be selling it for a long time. I'm not going to say forever because AI is changing so fast. I might have something new for you to sell in 6 months or a year. But you're going to be a customer for a long time. And that generates recurring income. So that's why I'm so excited more about the white label than offering these as services. Although, if you're in the service business, this can make you 100 times more productive. So, putting your own name on this, when you do the white label, you have the ability to pick and choose what tools you want to offer. I have a bunch of tools here. There's over 50 tools in this suite. Actually, there's probably a lot more than 50 because I added the woo woo tools. This this is a suite of tools that has to do with like numerology and astrology and I don't know what half of this shit is, honestly. Where this came from was going to Perplexity and saying, what GPT tools would serve this market. And that is a perfect example of what you can do with any industry. You can take whatever industry you want to build a set of tools for, and you can go to ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever your favorite AI is. Go to it and say, I am in a particular market, whatever that market may be, and I am doing research. I need your assistance coming up with a list of GPTs that I could offer to this industry that would help them save money, be more productive, and anything beneficial to this group of people. And it will spit out a list of GPT tools that you could build. And that's what all of these are. Every tool in this suite is a custom GPT that is programmed to do a particular job. So you're getting a list of tools for your industry of what GPT tools would benefit that industry. Next, you go over here into God mode and you create the tools. Now, I have another script that will give you every input field that you need to plug into God mode and make it literally a copy and paste project. So, in essence, you can create a suite of tools that's unique to your industry, put them into God mode, put them on the screen, remove the ones of mine that you don't want, and now you have a custom AI program, a custom AI software just like mine that I call Quantum AI Suite that's yours. You can sell it for whatever you want. If you want to sell it in that industry at $97 a month, if you want to sell it for $47 a month, if you want to sell it for $500 a month, take what the market will bear. There's some industries that pay a lot more money. If you're serving high corporate clients, they don't believe in something that's $47 a month. They would never buy that. They're going to want something that's $1,000 a month because it seems like it's more valuable to them. They have the money, they have the budget, and the guy that's going to decide to buy this from you, his job is often on the line for making good decisions. So he's not going to put his faith in a $47 a month AI program. He wants the big badass thing that's going to make him look like a hero. So he's going to say, yeah, this is the best one on the market. It's $1,000. You don't want all that cheap hocus pocus. So it's a whole psychological thing of how you price for different markets. That goes to, the suite here. This is the ACT marketing tools. Remember the first lesson, when you actually get into the A part, the analysis piece of the ACT program, it's market segmentation first. You segment the market to find out where the money is. You find out what the most profitable section is of that marketplace. And then you focus on that. And then you go to the build a buyer tool and you figure out, okay, who's the buyer? Who is my most profitable buyer? And it basically gives you mind reading. I did a really cool example of both of these tools on Alignable just, I think it was yesterday. And somebody was on there and they were in a particular niche. And I said, well, let me just do this live for you right here and now. And I went to the market segmenter and it was in the commercial construction area. And it told us that commercial construction contractors was the number one ranking profit center. It said, and it gives you 10, it gives you the top 10. DIY, do it yourself, and small scale project consultants. These would be the worst of this arena. You wouldn't go to the number 10 you'd go to the number one or maybe the number two for the highest profit. So I literally copied this. I went back to the second tool, the build a buyer, and I dropped it in as the market segment. And then for the product, I put in there, I think it's bulk tile. Basically, they have a tile shop and they supply contractors. And it basically gave us, a name of the ideal customer. Now, this isn't a real person. This is a fictional person. They call it an avatar in the business. The reason that you do this is so you can have somebody to talk to convey your value. Because most people, when they build their marketing material, they're talking to a market. Last time I checked, markets don't have credit cards. That's a problem if you're trying to sell something. So you need to talk to the person that has the credit card, and that is this right here. This is the person. We've got the most profitable sector. Now we've got the person. This is the person that you're going to talk to when you build your marketing. Now, this is going to tell you everything you need to know about them. It's going to tell you their core problem, the emotions around that problem, the fears the problem creates, how it affects relationships. Here's hurtful things those relationships are going to say. This is the stuff when this guy hears it, he cringes. It's important to know what gets under his skin if you're going to write copy that's going to be really successful for him. And this is really important if you want AI to write the copy for you. AI is not going to do this unless you prompt it to. The prompt to generate this report is over 13 pages long. I doubt you're writing 13-page prompts, and that's just for a piece of it. So you could literally copy this report, put it into ChatGPT or Gemini or Grok or Perplexity or whatever you're using, and say, this is my ideal customer. I need you to write me a sales letter to sell this product with these benefits at this price point. I need an irresistible offer to go with it. And now you've got a spectacular prompt that's going to give you a spectacular sales letter. The more you give it, the better job it's going to do. So going down the line, here's stuff that they've tried in the past. This is failures. Here's sound bites about those failures, about what happened. I find this one really interesting. This is what they don't want to do to fix their problem. So in your copy, if you're telling them they have to do this stuff, you just lost the sale. You killed the deal. You've got to know what's going on between their ears when you're trying to communicate your value with them. So, I mean, you guys see how important this stuff is? This is marketing right here. This is the way ad agencies work. They dig deep to get this information, and I get it in a matter of seconds, effortlessly, because of this tool. So here's the transformation, how that's going to affect those relationships in a positive way, the sound bites about the transformation, what the market hinges its success on, and what does the market have to give up by giving up their problem. So also, who does the market blame for the problem? You never want to put the blame on the person. You want to allow them an out. They need a scapegoat to blame the problem on. And then lastly, the five biggest objections that they're going to have in relationship to this. Now, if you guys have been in here, you've been through the ACT program and you've been through the tools, you know that we have the Franklin Belief Builder. That eliminates any objection on the planet using Benjamin Franklin's formula. Now, I've trained people on the formula for years. I've rarely seen anybody use the formula correctly. And I don't know why. I think it has to do with confidence, but here you don't have to worry about that. You put in the objection and it solves the problem. It gives you the belief builder to destroy the objection and shift it into your favor using Benjamin Franklin's formula. There's 1 to 3 dimensionalized benefits. There's WizGat Pro, which for those of you that don't are not familiar with WizGat, this was Ron Popeil's unique formula for turning a normal person into a superstar salesperson. He would literally take somebody that had a good product, they didn't know how to sell it to save their life. He would literally put them on TV in an infomercial as the salesperson for their product. Now, that might sound like an absolute disaster, right? I wouldn't do that with it. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. But he did on a daily basis, and he used WizGat to solve the problem. As he would ask them about their product, what's the name of your product? And as soon as they would say the name, he would cut them off, say, what is so good about that? WizGat, what is so good about that? And he did this 10 times. Whenever they would answer the thing, what's so good about that? He would ask it again. Well, what's so good about that? And by the time he got to the 10th layer, these people were into the pure gold and they would sell millions of dollars worth of their shit without knowing how to be a salesperson because of the WizGat formula. So in here, you can put in the first one, and this thing will dig 10 levels deep for you in the blink of an eye. It'll pull the absolute gold about what's so good about whatever you're selling. This is all just pure gold for your marketing. Irresistible offers, big ideas to grab attention, emotional buying triggers, lead magnets if you want to give stuff away to get people to opt in. All the tools are here. Real competitors. Like I use an example of a chiropractor. If you ask a chiropractor who his competitors are, he'll say other chiropractors, and you'll say wrong. That is wrong. That is a feeble answer because if you look at his solution, his product, his offering is back pain relief or neck pain relief. It's pain relief of some sort of another. Uh, so his competitors are not just other chiropractors. It could be acupuncturists, it could be masseuses, it could be inversion tables, it could be pain meds, it could be surgery. He has a whole slew of competitors. Now, what he needs to know is what those prospects of his are hearing in the marketplace from those other competitors. And that's the next tool on the list, hears and fears. They're hearing things from the market that's creating fears, which are objections. Like a big one would be, oh, I wouldn't go to a chiropractor. They can wreck you. They can break your back and now you got to have surgery and you got to be fused and you're ruined for life. That's what they could be hearing from those other competitors that want you to do their type of service instead of chiropractic. You need to understand that. You need to understand what the emotions are, what the objections are. So when you create your marketing, you can overcome those because you can do everything else perfect. You can grab their attention. You can create demand and desire. You can make an irresistible offer. Your pitch can be perfect. And the only thing standing in the way of you in a sale is an objection. If you do not eliminate the objections, you will not make the sale. So you have to understand what those objections are and you've got to eliminate them. Your presentation has to address them. It has to eliminate them. That's all part of the process. Before you make your offer, you do your damnedest to eliminate all those objections. And all the tools are right here in this little box for you. Whether you're doing this for yourself, whether you're offering services, if you're offering marketing services, and you don't have access to these tools, you are at a serious disadvantage because you saw how fast this thing will do the work for you. You don't even have to do the marketing. You could go to a company that is about to hire a copywriter, and you could have a pitch that without these reports, your copywriter is going to do a shitty job. You're going to pay them $10,000 and they're not going to do good for you. You could buy my set of reports that gives the copywriter everything they need to know how to sell to your ideal customer, and then they'll do a spectacular job. My set of reports is only $9.97. So you're going to charge them $1,000 to do the research that the copywriter's not going to do, but it'll make his job worthwhile. You can either spend $10,000 and waste every penny of it, or you can spend $11,000 and make a shitload of money. It's your choice. That's how you would present that. And you can make $1,000 literally for generating a set of reports, which I just showed you how to do, and hand it off to him and say, give this to your copywriter. He'll be highly impressed and he'll do a spectacular job for you. And he'll have no excuses not to. That's a pretty damn good presentation right there. You could literally take that and sell this to clients that are about to hire a copywriter. Make $1,000 a whack for doing very minimal effort. So there's a ton of money in this toolbox. Whether you're packaging it up to sell it to other marketers, other agencies, which is a prime market for this. These agencies, they don't know how to do this stuff. They're offering the services and they're all doing mediocre jobs because they don't really know how to do it. And they damn sure don't have the tools all pre-prompted for them to do it for them. So this is very valuable. Think about selling this toolbox to a marketing agency to make their life easier, to make them more profitable, to make them more effective. They could think about how much their testimonials would go through the roof if they were actually doing good work. Think how much more customers they would get because of those testimonials. I mean, this is a ripple effect. You're offering high quality effectiveness and cost savings. What more does any business want? It's all of it in a nutshell. Here's branding tools. If you want to offer branding, this tool will come up with unique names. This one will find a domain for it. This one will give you a color scheme. This one will give you the brand blurbs. This one will write the press release. You could literally be a branding agency, or you can go find a branding agency and sell them this tool and make money over and over and over every month, helping them do their job. They don't know how to write the prompts to do this stuff. They have access to AI just like you and I, but they don't know how to write the prompts to do all this stuff like magic. You have it. That's your magic. There's business tools, all kinds of stuff in here. There's one even for affiliate marketers. This will write all the affiliate content for affiliate marketers. This one's great for realtors. This writes the listings for property listings to go on the MLS. Or if you're doing an open house, this tool here, I have had one of our realtors, in fact, the one that I wrote this tool for, she absolutely swears by this tool. She says every time she does an open house, people come out of the woodwork. She's never experienced that before. And it's because this is creating descriptions like aren't normal. In realtors, they'll copy each other. It's the blind leading the blind. There's a shitty listing, they copy it, and they just post out another shitty listing. This thing avoids shitty listings. This one writes you a good listing that's unique and grabs attention. If everybody's seeing the same listing and they've gone to 10 open houses and they're all the same crappy old house, what do you think is going to happen when they see the 11th listing? They're going to go, I'm not going to that. I've seen it. But when they see your listing and it's unique and original, they're going to go, wow, I should show up for that one. This looks new. This looks fresh. So you got a lot of really, really cool stuff here. Let's see what else. So we've got God mode. As far as pricing, when you go into the white label, it will, this one's blank. I just started this one up. But when you go in here, if you click on the button, it's going to prompt you to upgrade to the white label, which is $97 a month. Once you do that, then you also get access to the God mode tool. This is where you actually create your apps. When you create your first app, this is the kind of stuff that you're going to do. You're going to name it. You're going to say, this is the instruction of what you would like the app to do. Our software will create the app for you. It will write all the coding. You just have to tell it in plain English what you want it to do. And it'll write the whole thing on the back end for you. If you want it to reference a knowledge base, you can do that here. You can upload a knowledge base and pick the one that you want. And you just go through the menu, save and continue. And within a matter of a few minutes, you have a tool added to the screen of your white label. Now, if you go in, let's go back. Let's go back to the white label. When you click on the settings, this is where you can go to the apps. This is where you put your logo, your site name. You can enable API if you want custom automation. Like if you want to connect this to Kartra, where when you get a customer, it automatically creates their account, sends out their login information. That's what the API does. When you go into apps, it will show you all the apps. Like there's my Act Imager. If you don't want that, you just uncheck the box and it removes it from the screen. Your customers don't see it. If you want to edit it, it's really simple. You can edit the tool just by clicking the edit button. You can change its name. You can change its image. You just click on the image, look for an image on your desktop, replace the image, update the description, and hit save. So you can customize all these to make them look like they're your proprietary tools, or you can take them out. You can also change the order of them if you like. You can decide which ones come and go. Like this has a warning on it that this is basically an upgrade. If you want to offer white label, you can also do that. You can offer the white label in the God mode. You can change the names of them. It's totally editable for whatever you want to do. So, does this look beneficial to anybody? There's a community tab. Most people aren't using this too much, but in the community tab, you can start a post. Like Pam has been in here and put some posts in. But this is how you can interact with the community of quantum users. If you've got ideas or questions or whatever, you can get in there in the community. There's other tools in here as well. These tools on the end, these are new tools, so I haven't really moved them into the appropriate folders yet. They're put on the main screen so you can see what's new. Like a prompt maestro. Let's say this might actually help you, Arba, in creating your prompt for your image, your precision image. If you go
I've
in
used
here,
that.
have you tried it?
Yeah. I started using that, and then now I just go straight to the imager thing, but I've used that.
Yeah, so you can put in some basic stuff here, and then it will write a spectacular image prompt for you. And then you can go and plug that into the Act Imager or any AI, and you've got yourself a really good image prompt. Another one here is this is the Reco brain. Reco stands for recommendation. So let's say let's say you want to create compelling, personalized, professional recommendations based on your relationship with a person and their qualities. Like if you're anything like me, a lot of people ask you to review them or give them testimonials. This is basically a testimonial writer. So you put in the person's name or their company, how and when you met, what stood out that you enjoyed about the person or the company, the product, what specific reasons do you trust them for, what's the person's professional role, how did they help you, why others should connect. Do you want to add a call to action, tone preference, and length preference? And then this thing will write it for you. So like let's say Teresa said, "Hey John, can you write me a testimonial?" I would come in here, I'd fill it out, and this thing is going to write her a spectacular, unique testimonial. And it's not going to be on me sitting here on a blank page trying to figure out what to write about her. Because I hate that shit. And this just makes your life easy for anything that you're going to get called upon in business to do. So I don't know if you guys even knew what that new tool did, but that's what it's all about.
Of course, I knew because I was the brainstorm with Brady to create it.
Yeah, yeah. All of these tools, all except for the ACT tools, almost every one of these tools was somebody like Arba that reached out and said, "Hey, could you make me a tool for this? I'm always needing to do this and it's pain in my ass. Can you help?" And that's where most of these tools came from. So if there's anything that you guys want as a tool, let me know and I'll put it in here for you. Or if you're doing a white label, I'll show you how to build your own set of tools. You can make these tools for any marketplace. This this toolbox here, the Quantum Suite, is basically made for a small business owner, somebody that wants to do their own marketing or offer marketing services. That's what this toolbox is for. There's some other stuff in here that doesn't have to do with marketing, like Card Whisperer. I actually made this one on my own. I did not need any prompting to make this tool because one of the worst things that I can have happen during the day is Barb to come to my desk with a card saying, "You need to write something in this birthday card for this person." That just makes me go mad because I don't know what to say, that's not my thing. And for me to exhume my brain power to do that, it's not something I want to spend my time on. So I created the Card Whisperer. She brought one in, sure enough, and I said, "Okay, this is one shot deal. I'm going to do this once, and this thing is going to do it forever." So I created the tool. This thing will write a greeting on anything for anybody. You just put in the details, and you've got a spectacular greeting card. I've made these things for weddings. A lot of times they'll get the best man or the bridesmaid to actually read these things when I create them for weddings because it's like a spectacular love story it creates. It's really, really cool. Kitchen Wizard, if you want to know what to make for dinner, that's another thing I hate is like, "Oh, what do you want for dinner?" I don't know. What do you want? What do you want to go? That's a pain in the ass. It's like deciding what color shirt to wear every morning. If you just all buy black shirts, you don't have to make that decision. Takes it off your plate. So here you just tell it what's in your refrigerator and it'll give you a gourmet recipe to make. You don't have to think about it. Just follow the instructions. It'll do it for you. So anyway, it's a pretty cool
John,
set of
can
tools.
can I jump on that kitchen wizard
Sure.
story? So my wife's a master chef, and as master chef, she's creative, and she does this and that, and she creates a snack. John gets birthday gifts, and for years I asked her, please write it. What do you mean? I just do it. Okay, master chefs don't want to be bothered. So I went to Kitchen Wizard. I told it everything, and they came back and wrote me the recipe, how to rename it, and how to market it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that kitchen wizard tool, I'm pretty sure I built that for Daryl because that's his business. He delivers high quality food to high end clientele in the DC area. So I thought that'd be a pretty cool tool for him to, we were just talking about it. Next thing I know, here it is on the screen. So it's super easy. Like building these tools, you don't have to be a programmer. All you have to do is know English and how to tell the thing what tool you want. And Perplexity will tell you what to do. It'll literally tell you what tools to make for your industry, and then it will tell you what to put into God mode to create the tool. I've got the template. Once you get into white label, I give you all the templates to create the tools, the training, all the stuff for it. So, and Gina, I'm going to call on you. How is it going? I know you've created a white label for the legal field. Are you selling it yet? I know Gina's on here. She might be ignoring me.
She's
Oh,
muted.
there you are.
Oh, there we go.
Um, what I am doing is I have a series of training that is scheduled, because then the way you sell to lawyers is you gather them and they get their continuing legal education credits, um, in return for listening to you. So I have a sequence of those, that are scheduled, and I will be doing one on. Actually, I'm going to be doing more than one on AI, and at that point, I will be offering it.
Okay, cool. So not quite there yet.
Um, but I went through the. Now you didn't have the tool yet for creating what GPTs they would want, so I did that manually in Perplexity, and I made a long list. And so I've done a lot of the work of creating the tools that they need.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's ready. And I created a lot of tools for me.
yeah. So how cool is it to be able to create the tools in there? How easy and cool is that process?
It's very easy. I can do it in 5 to 10 minutes. Um, Maybe 12 minutes if I have to do a second iteration because I didn't get it quite right. It's not hard. It's not hard, and then you have something you can use over and over again. And there are a couple of things where, as I've used them, I've decided to update instructions, and so that's not hard to do. You go into the God mode, and you can update some of the instructions to have it give you something slightly different because which you decide that you want something different.
Yeah, yeah. You can just edit it.
Yep,
Very cool.
that's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. Gina was one of the ones that was the first guinea pig white labelers. I took four of them on the boat for the weekend, and we basically built their entire white labels out. And by the time they were coming home, they were all building their own tools. It was really cool. So,
Yeah, and it's cool now because now I can say I am an app developer.
yeah. Yep, you're a software developer, not
Yep,
knowing anything about coding.
yep.
Well, that's one of the coolest things that AI has brought into our world is it's changed the most powerful programming language on earth. The most powerful programming language today is English because of your ability to tell AI what you want and it does all the programming for you. So that's a very powerful concept most people haven't got their head wrapped around yet. Is we all now are programmers. We are all whatever we want to be with the power of AI behind us. If you want to be a copywriter, if you want to be a graphic artist, if you want to be a filmmaker, if you want to be a press release guru, you can be whatever you want to be with AI behind you. You want to be a software developer. It's like a magic wand, you're automatically coronated. So that is very powerful. if you think about it, that's incredibly powerful. What you should be doing, what you all should be doing in your day to day life is looking for opportunities, looking for where's there problems that I can solve and get paid to solve them, especially on a recurring basis. Yeah, go ahead, Arba.
So it's another another testimonial. I had no idea what that WizGat was
Uh-huh.
until you just said it. And there was a program I was thinking about doing. And so I put it in this. And for some reason, I was thinking when you said it that it was going to keep asking me what does WizGat stand for?
What is so good about that?
Right. So I was thinking once I put that in, it was going to keep asking me what's so good about that? What's so good about that?
No, it
But
says it
then so
all.
I put it in and then it came up with this whole, I mean, it is like literally a landing page content and then gave me some suggestions after and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you all haven't tried this, you need to give this a try because I'm going to use this now.
Yeah, WizCat is awesome. I mean, the inspiration for that tool was we were on a call here and somehow I got on the topic of Ron Popeil and his proprietary formula for sales. And after the call, I'm like, I should just build a tool for it. So, like Gina said, 10 minutes later, there's WizGat tool in the platform for you. And it's very powerful. WizGat is incredibly powerful. I mean, what else could you do to take a bumbling idiot and turn them into a multi-million dollar salesperson in 30 minutes? Right? It's a WizGat formula. So why wouldn't we all want that in our back pocket?
And then it has the button. I just click the button to go right into build a buyer. So, I mean, I'm like, really?
Yeah, that was another upgrade. I have to go through and do some fine-tune configuring on the back end, but we're able now to take the output of the tools and push them into the next tool. So it carries that knowledge base forward, throughout the marketing campaign, which is really, really powerful.
Yes. Awesome. I'm glad I hung in there. I already messaged the other person. I said, I'm not going to be able to make your training.
I'm far better than anyone else on the plate, right?
Yeah, that was just supporting her, but you're supporting me.
There you go. Yeah, no, this is, you guys really are in a unique position. You're in a unique place in time right now that you really shouldn't you should take advantage of it. You shouldn't waste this opportunity. But look around. I mean, in your daily life, just going through life, look for problems. Look for people that are struggling and think, how can I solve that problem? It doesn't mean they're all good ideas, but some of them might be. If it's a one off thing, always fall back. Use the goggles that I've given you to evaluate opportunities. Like the profitability formula. Look at it through those goggles. And that there's three legs to that. It's, is the market big enough? Like when you're determining if you have a profitable market segment to serve, look at, is the market big enough to sustain my sales goals? Like, is it worth it? Is it worth me penetrating this market? Is it big enough to make it worth my while? That's number one. Number two is, what you're going to offer, is the problem you're going to solve be worth the money you're asking for it? Like, are they going to look at that and say, yeah, I want to pay for that? That is totally worth it, and I want to pay you for that to make that problem disappear. That's number two. And the third leg of the stool is, do they actually have the money to pay you? You have to have all three legs or the stool falls down. The stool doesn't doesn't balance on two legs. You have to have three or it falls down. It's the same thing here. You've got to have all three. So be aware of that when you're evaluating opportunities. Is the market big enough? Is the value worth it for them, and can they actually afford it? And if you check all three of those boxes, then you're a go. You are a go with a money making opportunity that you can cash in on. Now you just have to put the marketing together. You got to do the research, figure out the avatar, create the messaging that conveys the value. That's your presentation. Eliminate their objections, make them an irresistible offer, and and money will flow. I always additionally look at, is this a recurring income opportunity? I base almost all my decisions on that. Am I going to do a bunch of work for a one-off sale and then that's the end of the show? If that's the case, then that's a hard no for me generally. Unless it's, a lot of money and it's going to be worth it and, whatever, but generally it turns into a hard no. So, all right. So, let's go over and we're going to look at Mr. Brady's landing page. You ready to be
John,
Perryized?
can I ask you a quick question as you're looking getting the screen up?
Sure.
Is it? I'm sorry. Is there a profitability formula tool in Quantum AI, or is that you were just sharing the formula out of ACT program?
I was actually just sharing the formula. It's pretty
Oh,
basic. That one you can pretty much do that in your head, really.
okay. And then is there a press release writer tool in Quantum?
Yes, it's in the
Okay.
branding folder. If you
Okay.
if you look at the
Thank you.
branding folder, you'll see the press release tool is in there.
All right. Thanks, John.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
All
one
right.
more question. What about the pricing of white label?
Price white label is 97 a month for the white label platform. And then when you sell a white label, you get 2 free seats with the 97 a month. I would recommend that you don't waste those. You use those as demo accounts, where if you want to give someone free access to test it or take a look at it, you can give them that login to do that. After the 2 free seats, everyone that you add as a regular customer costs you $9 a month. You can resell it for whatever you want. Like, just know that your cost of overhead on that seat is $9 a month. It's all prorated. So, like, let's say if you're in the middle of your billing cycle, it's going to be 450. If you're anywhere along the line, it's going to adjust and prorate the billing. And then at the end of the month, when your next billing cycle comes, it will bill you for the whole amount of all the ones that had a full month. And any ones that come on after that, you'll just be charged the prorated amount to add each one as you go. And then again, the next billing cycle, you'll be charged the full amount for all the ones that have run a full month out. So that's how the billing works. That's how the pricing works, and it's pretty straightforward. It's a pretty low overhead business to run.
Yeah,
You've got a $9 cost on something that has an incredible amount of value, and you should be able to have no issues whatsoever selling that for $100 a month, $200 a month. And like I said, if you focus on the real profitable segments, you're selling that into a corporate environment. Maybe you're selling it for $1,000 a month or $2,500 a month because they want to pay more. They don't want to buy a $47 thing and pen their reputation on it. They don't want their boss to look at them and say, you paid how much?
right.
Why? They could lose their job over that. I had a good friend of mine that he used to program software for big companies. And he would tell me how much they would charge to do it, how much they charge to support it every month. and like, to me, it seemed absolutely astronomical. And I said, really? And he's like, well, yeah, if we don't, we won't get the job. He said, they won't give us the job if we don't do that. They will not trust a company that doesn't charge them a shitload of money. I mean, that seems asinine to me, but it's the way that world works. It's a great place to be. That's where I started out, in commercial photography. I was working with ad agencies making $3,500 a day plus expenses taking photographs. I mean, I was doing special effects and some really cool stuff. I wasn't on the low end of the totem pole by any means. I was at the top of the scale. But they wouldn't go with someone cheaper because they didn't trust that it was going to be the same quality of work. That's just the way it was. So, all right, anything else before we take Brady apart limb by limb here? All right, so and again, this is I don't want anybody to be afraid to have me review their stuff because of what we're about to go through here, but it's like I made the exact same mistake. Brady might have made it a little larger, but that's okay. Above the fold, when you pull up any website, any landing page, above the fold, this what you see right here is the most prime real estate there is on the entire page. And this is like old school. When you flip the pages in a magazine, you've got a certain amount of seconds to stop the reader from flipping the page. And there's nothing here
Hey,
that makes
John,
me want to stop.
your screen is zoomed in a lot because my screen doesn't show that whenever I have it up. I'll share my screen just to show you real quick if
Okay,
it's
yeah,
okay.
I'll go ahead and stop so you can
And
share.
by all means, I got broad shoulders, but it is different on mine.
Well, let's see what you got.
Can you see that?
Not yet. Okay, now I do. Okay, this is actually what I saw yesterday. So something might have changed. But anyway, this
I told you it was in kind of construction mode.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. So, but
Yeah.
if you want to go ahead, I sent the this unsung tributes to you in the chat. If you just want to pull that up, I
Oh,
don't know if
okay.
it changed the layout at all, but
Yeah, it looked like John was looking at a gamma presentation.
yeah, I don't know if that made a difference. Or John, when I noticed like in your Quantum Suite dashboard, your apps are zoomed in as well, so it makes it zoom
Yeah.
in more. So that might be the thing also.
Okay.
I can scroll down through this if you want as well. It's totally up to
Yeah,
you.
that's fine. You can just scroll it. So right here, again, this is above the fold. This is the most important piece that you're going to have on this page. And nobody cares about the logo. So the logo is small and you've adjusted that. But you've got a lot of space here and the imagery behind. I get what you're doing here because I know about it. But if I were to see this for the first time, I'm adding 12,000 in revenue without adding any work. But this looks like a school teacher in a classroom environment. This does not look like a memorial service. So the image behind there, that's the subtle thing that my subconscious is keying into. It says without any work, but then I see a school, which means work. So I think you need a better image back there. And the other thing, it it has a promise, but there's no unique delivery mechanism. There's no reference. Like with a big idea, you have three things to address in your attention grabber. So the first one is the promise, which you have a promise here. You're promising more revenue without working, but you're missing the other two pieces. So the second piece is the unique mechanism of what is going to deliver this result. Because if you don't have the what's going to deliver the result, then they just say bullshit. They don't buy it. It's the unique delivery mechanism that makes it real. The other thing is saying it in a way, in a unique, interesting way that they've never heard it before. So I would work on the big idea a little bit there. And then let's scroll down. Okay, your second
Yeah.
line here.
This is basically, this is not going to see any cold traffic like whatsoever right now. It's literally just a
Okay.
page that funeral homes can go to if they look at my business card or,
Yeah.
material right
Yeah.
now. But yeah,
But you should be like to Allie's point, you should be very clear on what it is that you're offering. The logo unsung tributes doesn't really say it,
yeah,
and nowhere in the headline does it say what they're getting or how this is, or this is just like a pie in the sky promise of money raining from the sky and not having to do anything for it. It's not
perfect.
attached to anything. So then the next one down is book a demo and find out how. They're not probably going to book a demo unless they know what they're booking a demo for. So that's a little premature. And then the next line here, the most powerful way to deepen impact, boost revenue, and make every goodbye unforgettable for your families. So it's very vague. Like I always say, you need to tap into them, like what's going through their head at night when they put their head on the pillow. And I bet it's not they're thinking, wow, if I only had a more powerful way to deepen impact, right? They're this is basically what you're giving them is you're giving them an additional revenue stream that is going to make them unique and make them look like a hero. Like I don't think the adding without adding any work, I don't think that's really a viable promise to what you're doing. The what I would focus on is a unique new income stream that your customers will fall in love with. Something like that. And
Yeah.
and then going into how you're going to create that for them.
Yeah, there's probably something like this is probably more, I'm not exactly what you just said, but
Yeah. Yeah. See, you're getting to it, but you're too far down. That stuff needs to be moved to the top of
right.
what you're doing and what it's going to do for them and all that. So you need to get to the point because if you think back old school, we had like so many seconds to keep the page from being turned. And if you don't stop the page turn, you lose the prospect. You lose the opportunity to make the sale. So that is job one is grab their attention. That's where the big idea comes in. That's your main headline. You've got to stop them from turning the page. And on the web, it's even worse. They turn the page even faster electronically than they did old school physically flipping the pages. So you got to grab their attention right away. And once you grab their attention, then and only then you start creating demand and desire for what it is that you're offering. And the best way to create demand and desire is by showing them how it works, showing them what it is, showing them what it does. Like, I don't know if you have this or not, and I wouldn't want you to make stuff up, but if you had an example, even if it wasn't yours, even if you had an example of someone else doing something similar, like video. They do this in video a lot at funeral homes. They'll offer the family a tribute video, and that's what you're doing. You're just doing it in audio. So if you took the example of tribute video and you interviewed a couple of funeral home owners and you got their statements about how offering that additional service to give that extra value to the family got them more business through testimonials than anything else they've ever done. You could attach that to yours in the same delivery, even though it hasn't done it already. That's called social proof. You're adding social proof of adding these kind of extra value things to the customers is not just going to get them more income, it's also going to get them more future business because they provided an experience for that family that they will talk about forever. And, once this happens to you, once somebody passes away in your family and you're part of this experience, you come across other people that are going through the same thing and you want to help them. You want to make referrals. You want to tell them, oh my God, I did this and it was great. Here's the guy you want to go to. And if you provide them a spectacular experience, they will do that more and more and more. So that's the kind of stuff. And you will probably get that in the mind reading if you go and you do the build a buyer. I don't know if you've done the build a buyer yet, but you should do that. That should be part of your analysis before you get into creating this. You need to know the emotion of that funeral home director because that's your customer. Your customer isn't the end consumer here. Your customer is the funeral home owner. That's who you're trying to sell this to because that's your big opportunity.
Yeah.
That's your opportunity for recurring income. If you're selling it to the end user, that's a one-shot deal. And as soon as you're done, you're hunting for another customer. You
Right.
want the guy that's going to give you a customer 3 times a day because he's doing 3 services a day. 365. People don't take time. They don't take time off to die. They're dying every day. So this is a 365 opportunity multiple times a day for every one of these guys you find. So that's your buyer. So do the market segmenter, do the build a buyer, mind read the shit out of this guy, figure out what's important to him, and then put this info together. And I don't know, did
You're the
you
whiz cat, right, John?
yeah, whiz cat the shit out of this thing. I don't know if you did that or not. Did you go through the act process to do this?
I cheated and I used the ACT marketing protocol summary and tried to chat it that way and came up with this was literally just off a whim.
Okay,
No, I haven't done it
that's
start
fine.
to finish, but it did change the messaging. Like it had ad revenue. I put in 12 grand because I know that that's actually what I can help them create on their bottom line if they just do 2 to 3 services and not even just burials. It could be cremation or pre-plan. So,
Yeah.
uh, yeah,
Yeah, see that probably isn't part of your header. That's probably not part of your attention grabber.
yeah,
That's part of the creating demand and desire where you're walking them through how it works and then you giving them scenarios of this is how much you stand to make. I don't think it's a lead-in promise. It's in creating demand and desire once you've grabbed their attention and you're building that demand and desire for it.
cool.
So, but I would seriously go back, run the build a buyer and then take that and figure out what is your big idea from that. I think it'll totally change this into a spectacular sales pitch.
Cool.
But I mean, don't feel bad. I make the same mistake almost every time when it's my stuff. And I think Sue is on here. Sue did the same thing when she started into the ACT program. I asked her, I said, who's your buyer? And she told me she was very detailed about it. And I said, where did you get that information? And she got it out of her head. She didn't actually do the research. And when she did the research, she came back and she said, holy shit, couldn't have been further from the truth. It's very, very important that you don't speculate on this stuff and think you know the answer. You should do the research and know before you spend a bunch of time because creating a page like this, there's a lot of stuff here. He spent a lot of time plugging all this stuff in. If you're going to spend time, I had a woodshop teacher that had a famous saying. He would tell me, if you don't have time to do it right the first time, you'll make time to do it again. And I am like a big proponent of not wasting my time. So if I know it's got to be right, I tend to want to do it right so I don't have to do it again. But that said, I make the same mistakes when it's my own stuff. So I get that. And I think we all probably do that. That's why, as you guys are going through the process, you should bring the stuff on here. Let me look at it. You know, put some thick skin on because I'm going to tell you the truth. And that should help you. You should look forward to that. You should look forward to having your mistakes pointed out by me, not by your customers, because they won't tell you. They just won't buy from you. And that's really bad. That's really frustrating. So it's it's a process, and we all want to sidestep it. We all want to think, oh yeah, I know the answer. I can just do it. But it's important, if you want to get the most results, that you follow the process. The process has been used over 100 years by ad agencies. They do it that way for a reason, because it works. So anyway, I think that is about it, unless anybody's got anything else you want me to cover for today. All good stuff. I want to thank you guys all for showing up and great questions. And I think I don't know if Arba's still in the house, but she made
Yeah,
it.
she had to go to another meeting. She said goodbye in the chat.
Yeah, yeah, but she hung in there. She hung in there for some good stuff. So I always appreciate that. Anybody that brings in content, testimonials, all that stuff. It's great.
Well, John, just for clarity,
Uh-huh.
we would we would get the white label if you could buy the Quantum Suite and use it for your own self, your own business, or you could
Correct.
buy the Quantum Suite as a white label, right?
Yes, the only reason that you would want it as a white label is if you wanted to have a product to sell customers, a recurring income product. If you
Okay,
don't have one and you want one, it's pre-built, it's a no-brainer.
right.
But if you're not doing that and you just want the suite, you don't have any need for the white label.
Hmm.
The white
Okay,
label is just if you want your own product that you can take something that's already done, sitting on the shelf, ready to sell, put your name on it, and you've got a instant product.
okay.
And
Thank
it's a really good instant product to come out of the gate with.
you. Thank you.
So it's the product of an instant product that took me a year to build.
Or 20 or 25 years, right, of all your experience.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
lifetime of knowledge. It took me a lifetime to put that together.
Yeah, exactly. We've been here with you a hot minute and we know all that you have built underneath your wings there. Um, I'm just trying to sort it out in my brain. So thank you, because Rich
Yeah,
has something he's considering, and then I do too, but I don't know
yeah,
if
and like I said, you can build a set of tools in there for any industry. If you have a particular niche, you can
with the
build
white
it.
label in God mode, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay.
Because you get to
So,
pick and choose if you want any of my tools or all of them or none of them. You have total flexibility in the white label.
well, so John, like for somebody like Rich and I, he's got like more into the hypnosis and I don't know, well, he's got a whole bunch of credentials now that he accomplished over these many past few years. And I'm in the art and creativity kind of zone. But we could, the purchasing through Limbo Land is the Quantum AI Suite. I already have AIO. Um, would we?
You can also do a white label on the AIO suite as well. I've
Mhm.
got that set up to white label as well. So it's the same process. Whether you're white labeling the quantum AI suite of tools or the AIO set of tools, which some of you might not even be familiar with. It's a custom set of tools, just like I have in quantum for marketing, but it's for optimization of AI. It's kind of like SEO, search engine optimization, but for AI engines. But it's the
Yeah.
same process. You can white label, there's a God mode. You can pick and choose of my tools that I've built for that. None of the stuff that is in quantum is in that. It's
Right.
just tools for AI optimizing.
Right. But like say for just building, like just if I wanted to just help Rich build his business, I would get the Quantum Suite, the AIO, and then probably ideally Kartra, right? And then I would be set up with you in your house, like to do business. Is that the all the tools? I'm trying to figure out everything I need to help him.
Yeah, if you're gonna do a white label, you need either the quantum suite or the AIO suite, whichever one you want to white label, or both if you want to white label both of them. And then I would highly recommend Kartra as far as your base program for supporting your business. A lot of people use Go High Level. I have nothing against you using Go High Level if that's what you know. If you're with Perry's group, he supports Go High Level at a very high level. So if you're with his group and you want to rely on his support to support you in building out a Go High Level back end, that's awesome. There's no problem with that. If you want my assistance with it, I don't know Go High Level, so I know Kartra. So
Right.
I
But
prefer.
I don't think we would do the white label. I'm just talking about helping make Rich's business with your tools. You know what I mean? Like
Oh, gotcha. I gotcha. Okay.
so I would
Yeah,
need
Kartra.
quantum.
Kartra you would need if you needed like a shopping cart, if you need all the features and the functionality of Kartra,
Mhm.
then yes. If you don't need all that, you just need a way to take money. I mean, you could go set up a Stripe account for free and have no cost. So it just kind of depends on what you're trying to
So we
accomplish.
could do a step by step to build up to Kartra. But what I'm
Sure.
trying to figure out is what I need to help Rich build his business. And then, so I would need Quantum Suite and the AIO, right? And then, like you said, Stripe.
Yeah.
For okay,
Yeah.
great. That's what I was trying to figure out without having to ask you for a private meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I did a really cool thing this last weekend. Damien Zamora was doing a mastermind group, and he was doing it for 2 days down in Newport at a hotel, and they were right on the water. So I offered to come down and extend his mastermind group by 3 days. I wound up picking them up Friday morning, right there where they were doing their mastermind group, and taking the group over to Catalina for the weekend. And one of the guys that was in his mastermind group is using the AIO tools, and he's optimizing, and he's been getting really, really good results. And he's going to start offering it as an agency model. So if there's any of you that don't want to do that work, I'm probably pretty soon going to have an option for you if you want somebody that will do it for you. So I'm going to talk to him probably this week about, what he's willing to offer and how much and all that kind of stuff. Because I know there's a lot of people that that makes them their eyes roll back in their head to do that kind of work. And it's like SEO. The only reason I did SEO to begin with was just to create the process and then pass it off to my outsource team. I did not do SEO work myself because it's absolutely mind numbing. It's repetitive stuff that I just can't possibly make time in my day for. I made time to figure it out, get it all dialed in, but that was not a job I was ever looking for. I created those jobs for others, not for me. So that's something where I'm not probably going to get into the service industry again. I'm just basically in the business now of offering the software for it for agencies and people that want to do it on their own. But I don't really want to offer the services anymore. So I'm looking for options for you guys, for those of you that want it done for you. And don't blame you at all for that. So, all right, guys. Well, let's wrap it up for today. Like I said, I appreciate y'all coming on here and participating and asking good questions. And we will be back on next week, as far as I know, regular time. If anything changes, I will let you know. Have a great week and enjoy the summer. It's beautiful out.
Thank you. Fabulous. And you look
Thank
great.
you, John. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thanks, John.